waiting for a sign, for support, for someone to show up and rescue you from your mess. Here's the truth that most people won't say out loud, "No one is coming," but that's not a curse. That is power. Because once you stop waiting, once you realize it's you, just you, then you also realize that you were the sign. You were the help. You were the hero all along. Welcome back to Mentor's Mindset. Let's get started, shall we? We've all been fed a dangerous fantasy. We grow up watching fairy tales and films where a single person or event swoops in and changes everything. The mentor, the soulmate, the promotion, the lottery win. From childhood we're told someone will come and that someone always comes right on time. In stories, that moment of rescue is inevitable, but in real life it's rare. Someone will love you so much they fix your wounds. But that's not how healing works. Love is beautiful, but it can't replace the internal work we have to do ourselves. No one can cry your tears for you, sit in your shame for you, or rewire your beliefs. Some job, some mentor, some perfect timing will change your life. We believe opportunity will knock, but often you have to build the door. Perfect timing isn't given, it's created through consistent effort in imperfect moments. Some friend, some partner, some divine intervention. Sure, support is real, but depending on it as the plan, that's the setup, not for success, for disappointment. But here's what life teaches the hard way. If you keep outsourcing your rescue, you stay stuck in the storm. Because while you're waiting for the wind to change, others are learning to sail through it. They're not waiting, they're building. And that's why they move forward while you feel frozen. That belief is comforting, but it's disempowering. It lets you stay passive. It makes you believe your breakthrough is outside of your control, and that's the real danger, because every time life knocks us down and we wait, we're actually delaying our own rise. You're not stuck because you're broken. You're stuck because you're still waiting for someone else to fix what only you can touch. Let's talk psychology. This isn't just mindset fluff. It's rooted in behavioral science. Our brains crave patterns. And when we wait long enough, the brain gets used to that pattern, even if it hurts. Waiting breeds resentment. You don't even realize it at first, but your heart starts building a quiet list of people who should have been there, who didn't notice, who didn't help. You start asking, why hasn't anyone helped me? Why isn't anyone showing up for me the way I show up for them? These questions echo inside you. They make you feel unseen, and they turn into frustration, not just with others, but eventually with yourself. And slowly, that pain turns inward. You start to feel invisible, unworthy, powerless. You question your worth based on others' silence. You think maybe you don't deserve help. But that's not the truth. That's your pain speaking. You think, maybe I don't matter enough to be rescued, but your worth was never supposed to be measured by someone else's capacity to show up. But here's the reframe that changes everything. You don't need to be rescued, you need to reclaim. That moment you stop waiting, you step into your power. Reclaim your choice, reclaim your energy, reclaim your timeline, because your life doesn't need permission to begin again. You can restart in silence. You can evolve even when no one's clapping. Let's be clear, taking responsibility does not mean blaming yourself for everything. This isn't about shame, it's about strength. Responsibility isn't about pointing fingers, it's about opening doors. It means this: I accept that even if it's not my fault, it's still my move. That's the turning point, when you realize maybe you didn't cause it, but you control what happens next. That mindset separates survivors from victims, builders from blamers. You can't control your childhood. You can't control trauma, betrayal, bad luck, or systemic barriers. You didn't choose the pain. You didn't sign up for the setbacks. And you don't have to pretend those things didn't shape you. But you also don't have to stay shaped by them. But what you can control is your next hour, your next step, your next thought. You don't have to control the whole future, just the next 15 minutes. That's where your freedom lives. In small, powerful choices, that's responsibility, not punishment. Power, responsibility says, I can, and that's the most radical healing sentence you can ever believe. Let's sit in that truth. It's your move. Not in 5 years, not after one more heartbreak, not when the conditions are perfect. Now, even if your hands are shaking, even if your voice cracks, start. Say to yourself, it's my move, and I'm ready to make it. You're not powerless. You're preparing, and that changes everything. Let's ground this, because this message can't just live in theory. Let's talk about real people, 2 individuals I had the pleasure of knowing personally, who stopped waiting and started building. Sarah was abandoned by both parents, foster care to couch surfing. Everyone expected her to repeat the cycle. Statistically, she shouldn't have made it. She was surrounded by failure stories, people who gave up, people who gave in. Instead, she read 1 book a month, got a job, got a degree, started a non-profit, and she did it all while no one was watching. No social media applause, just grit, just growth. She didn't wait for help, she became it. Today, Sarah mentors others. She didn't just break the cycle, she replaced it with purpose. Jay was diagnosed with severe depression, waiting for the perfect therapist, the perfect day to start healing. He felt stuck, every day blurred into the next. He thought, when I feel better, I'll begin. But that day didn't come, it never came. One day he just walked outside, walked every day, eventually started journaling. And with every step, every sentence, he found himself, started showing up for his own life, messily, imperfectly, but consistently. Jay didn't wake up healed. He woke up willing, and that changed his entire direction. These people didn't have a Hollywood moment. They had a Tuesday afternoon where they said, enough! No background music, no big speech, just a decision. 1 moment, 1 move, let that sink in. Their rescue wasn't a savior, it was a shift. And if they can do it, crawling out of deeper holes than most of us can imagine, then so can you. You don't need a miracle, you need a moment. This could be that moment. What do you do when you're growing in silence, when the world doesn't notice the internal battles you win, when healing feels invisible, uncelebrated, when there's no applause, no validation? That's when most people quit, not because they're weak, but because we were taught to only value what's visible. You keep going because your progress matters, even if it's quiet, even if no one cheers, even if the only one who notices is you, because growth isn't sexy, it's lonely, boring, repetitive, quiet. It looks like drinking water instead of numbing, saying no without guilt, getting out of bed when your body says stay. But then one day your life looks different, and people say, wow, you're so lucky, but luck had nothing to do with it. You were sweating in silence while they were scrolling. No, you're not lucky. You chose yourself when no one else did. You got up when no one was watching. You did the invisible work. You sowed in silence, and now you're harvesting peace. Let that be your superpower, your consistency, your refusal to fold. That's what sets you apart. There will be days when no one sees your effort, no one praises your growth, no one claps for your healing, but you don't stop. Because you weren't doing it for applause, you were doing it to survive, to evolve, to live, so keep going anyway. If you're still watching, let me speak directly to you. This message is for you, not the perfectly healed version of you, the you right now, as you are. Maybe life feels heavy, maybe you've been let down, forgotten, ignored. You've carried more than people know. And still you wake up, still you keep trying. That's not weakness, that's strength. But you are not helpless, you're human, that's different. You still have choices, still have voice, still have power. Even if you're crawling, even if your small step feels like nothing right now, it matters. Your small step today is the foundation of your breakthrough tomorrow. You are proof that quiet strength is still strength. You are the one you've been waiting for, so stop waiting and start becoming. Say it loud. I got me. Say it again, louder, until your heart believes it. Tag someone who needs to hear this. Drop a comment that says, I got me, because once we say it out loud, we stop waiting and we start building. Subscribe for more raw truths and real talk. Follow at mentors_mindset on Instagram and TikTok for daily reminders that power isn't loud, it's consistent. Leave a comment and hit subscribe so we can grow this movement together, one real conversation at a time.